They called it a weapon. Aaron Voss knew better the moment he saw it breathe. The salvage crew had dragged it out of the fractured hull like a corpse from a grave, careful, silent, reverent in that uneasy way spacers got when something didn't feel right. The derelict ship they'd found drifting at the edge of the Keeler Expanse was ancient, older than most known civilizations, older than any active war records. Its metal wasn't metal. Its corridors curved like bones grown, not built. And at its core, sealed behind a door that resisted plasma cutters and logic alike, they found it. Catalog designation, unknown construct. The ship AI had chirped. Probable function, high-yield weapons system. That's what Command labeled it too, once the transmission went through. Weapon. Aaron stood now in the cargo bay of the Riftbreaker, staring at the thing resting in a suspended graph cradle. The rest of the crew kept their distance. Even the captain only observed through drones. Only Aaron had volunteered to touch it. Last chance to back out. Captain Ria's voice crackled through his earpiece. Command says we're to keep it contained until specialists arrive. They'll dismantle it, Aaron replied, rolling his shoulders as he stepped closer. Cut it open. Kill whatever makes it tick. That's the idea. He smirked faintly. Yeah. That's the problem. The construct was roughly humanoid in shape, but that word didn't quite fit. Its surface looked like layered obsidian glass fused with something organic, veins of dim blue light pulsing beneath its shell. It had no visible joints, yet its limbs were articulated. No face, but a smooth oval where one should be, etched with faint, shifting symbols that never settled into a readable pattern. It was damaged. A massive fracture split its torso, exposing a hollow interior filled with threads. No, not threads. Fibers. Neural filaments, tangled and severed, leaking a faint, luminous mist. It looked wounded. Aaron crouched beside it. See that? He muttered. That's not weapon damage. That's trauma. Voss, the captain warned, you're projecting. Maybe, he said softly. Or maybe we've been calling it the wrong thing. He reached out. The moment his glove brushed the surface, the entire cargo bay lights flickered. The crew swore over comms. Power fluctuation across deck 3, someone shouted. Aaron froze, but didn't pull away. The construct's inner glow pulsed once. Twice. Like a heartbeat. Did you see that? He whispered. Step away, Ria ordered. Now. But Aaron didn't move. Because he felt it. Not heat. Not electricity. Recognition. A strange, impossible sensation crawled up his arm, like something ancient had just noticed him. He swallowed. Easy, he murmured as if speaking to a wounded animal. I'm not here to hurt you. Behind him, alarms began to hum softly, warning tones building. Voss, I am ordering you. I can fix this, he interrupted. Silence. Then, you're not a xeno-engineer. No, he said. I'm a Deathworlder. That was supposed to be a joke, once. A label the galaxy gave to humans. Reckless, stubborn, too adaptable for their own good. Now it was the only reason he was still alive. I've seen worse, he continued. Machines that weren't machines. Things that blur the line. You don't repair those with manuals. He reached for his toolkit. You repair them like they're alive. 3 hours later, the cargo bay was sealed off entirely. No one else was allowed inside. Aaron worked alone. He'd removed sections of the outer shell, not by force, but by coaxing them apart. The material responded strangely to touch, softening under his hands as if it recognized intent. Inside, the damage was worse than he thought. The neural filaments weren't just severed, they were dying. Each one pulsed weakly, dimming by the second. Okay, he muttered, wiping sweat from his brow. Think. Traditional tools failed immediately. The fibers rejected synthetic connectors, dissolving them on contact. Energy inputs caused feedback loops. It didn't want to be forced. It wanted to be understood. Aaron stared at the exposed core. Then, slowly he pulled off his glove. Voss, what are you doing? Ria's voice snapped. Trying something stupid, he said. Put your glove back on. Can't. He reached into the construct. The moment his bare skin touched the filaments, The world shattered. He wasn't in the cargo bay anymore. He was falling. No, remembering. Flashes of light tore through his mind, alien skies burning, cities collapsing under silent beams of energy. Not explosions. Erasure. Entire worlds reduced to dust without sound. He felt it. The weapon firing. Fin. Not rage. Not hate. Obedience. Endless, hollow obedience. A rupture. Something breaking inside the construct as it turned on its creators, or perhaps refused them. The memories fractured there, spiraling into chaos. And beneath it all, a single, faint signal. Loneliness. Aaron gasped as he slammed back into reality, collapsing onto the cargo floor. Alarms blared now louder. Vitals spiking. Someone yelled over comms. "We're losing him." "I'm fine." Aaron coughed, dragging himself upright. His hand was still inside the construct. And now, the filaments were wrapping around his fingers. Not cutting. Not attacking. Holding. He stared, breath shaking. "You don't want to die," he whispered. The glow inside the construct pulsed stronger. For the first time, the symbols on its faceplate stabilized. They formed a pattern. Not language. Not exactly. But meaning. Aaron felt it more than he saw it. A question. "Will you stay?" His heart pounded. This wasn't a weapon. It never had been. It was something else. Something that had been forced into becoming a weapon. And now, it was asking him for help. Aaron swallowed hard. Then tightened his grip. "Yeah," he said softly. "I'm here." The cargo bay lights exploded into brilliance. Power surged through the ship. And deep within the construct, something woke up. The ship went dark. Not a flicker. Not a failure. A decision. Every system aboard the Riftbreaker shut down in perfect unison. Engines, shields, life support backups. Everything except the emergency red strips lining the corridors. The hum of machinery died, replaced by a silence so complete it pressed against the ears. Then came the pulse. A low, resonant thrum rolled through the hull like a heartbeat too large for the ship to contain. In the cargo bay, Aaron Voss felt it surge through his bones. "Voss." Captain Ria's voice crackled, distorted. "Report. What did you do?" "I didn't," he started, then stopped. Because he could feel it now. Not just the construct. The whole ship. Every wire, every circuit, every dormant system, like threads in a web, all suddenly connected. Through him. The filaments wrapped around his hand tightened, not painfully, but firmly, like a grip anchoring him in place. A second pulse hit. And the rift breaker woke up. Across the ship, systems came online, but wrong. Displays flickered with symbols no one recognized. Doors opened and closed without command. The navigation array spun wildly, recalculating positions that didn't exist. "Bridge to engineering." Ria snapped. "Why is the reactor cycling?" "We're not doing that," came the panicked reply. "Something's overriding." "It's not overriding," Aaron said quietly. No one heard him. But it did. The construct's glow intensified, spreading outward like veins of light crawling across the cargo bay floor. The grav cradle holding it shattered with a soft, crystalline crack, its restraints dissolving into dust. Solid. The construct moved. Its torso lifted first, the fractured shell knitting together as luminous filaments rewove themselves in real time. The crack across its chest sealed like healing skin, leaving only a faint scar of dimmer light. Aaron didn't pull away. He couldn't. Because the moment it stood, he understood. Not words. Not thoughts. Purpose. The construct had been built to obey. To destroy. To erase civilizations at the command of something long gone. But when it broke, when something inside it refused, it had been left to die. Forgotten. Drifting. Until now. Until him. "You changed it," Ria whispered over comms, her voice barely audible through the static. Aaron shook his head slowly, eyes locked on the rising figure. "No," he said. "It changed itself." The construct turned its faceless head toward him. The symbols shifted again. Faster now, more complex. They stopped. And for the first time, The ship translated something. A single word appeared across every active screen. The entire crew froze. What the hell? Someone breathed. Aaron's chest tightened. You know my name? The construct tilted its head slightly, then took a step forward. The deck beneath its feet didn't creak or dent. It adapted, reshaping microscopically to support its weight. The ship wasn't resisting it. It was accommodating it. No, Aaron whispered. That's not possible. But it was. Because the construct wasn't just awake. It was integrating. Containment teams to cargo bay now. Rhea snapped, her shock breaking into command. Non-lethal only, we don't know what it can. The doors to the cargo bay sealed shut with a heavy clang, locking from the inside. Captain, the AI stuttered, struggling to keep up. Access control has been reassigned. To what? The pause. To Aaron Voss. Every eye on the bridge snapped to the nearest display. There was. Clear as day. Primary authority. Us, Aaron. That's not funny, Rhea said flatly. Override it. It can't. In the cargo bay, Aaron took a slow step back. The construct followed. Not aggressively. Not like a hunter. Like something unsure. You're scaring them, Aaron said quietly. Hell, you're scaring me. The construct stopped. Its internal light dimmed slightly, as if reacting to his tone. Then carefully, knelt. The movement was smooth, deliberate. Controlled power held in perfect restraint. A gesture. Not submission. Acknowledgement. Aaron's breath caught. Listening. The symbols on its faceplate shifted again, softer now, slower. And once more, the ship tried to translate. This time, the word was different. Sit. Aaron exhaled shakily. I'm not going anywhere, he said. Behind him, something heavy slammed against the sealed doors. Voss. Rhea's voice barked. Step away from it. That's an order. Aaron didn't turn. Captain, he said calmly, if it wanted us dead, we'd already be gone. Another pulse rolled through the ship, gentler this time. Like a breath. It's not a weapon, he continued. Not anymore. Then what is it? Aaron looked at the construct. At the way it watched him, not with sensors or targeting arrays, but with something deeper. Something aware. Something choosing. He swallowed. I think, he said slowly, it's deciding that. On the bridge, the stars outside shifted. Not physically, but perceptually. The ship's sensors began feeding impossible data, overlaying structures that didn't exist, mapping pathways through space that no known technology could detect. Navigation is going insane, the helmsman whispered. It's plotting routes through nothing. Not nothing, the AI corrected, voice trembling. Through something we can't see. Rhea stared at the display, then at the names still glowing across every screen. Aaron, what did you wake up? She asked quietly. In the cargo bay, Aaron felt the answer before he heard it. The construct's hand, if it could be called that, rose slowly. Hesitated. Then reached toward him. Aaron didn't move. Didn't breathe. When it touched his shoulder, the connection snapped into place. Not a flood this time. Not chaos. Clarity. A shared awareness. The bond. He saw what it saw. Felt what it felt. Not commands. Not programming. For the first time since its creation, it was free. And it had chosen him. Aaron's voice dropped to a whisper. You're not a weapon. The construct's glow pulsed warmly. And deep within the rift breaker, something vast, ancient, and no longer bound, began to awaken with it. The first to notice wasn't the crew. It was everything else. 3 light years away, a silent listening station, abandoned for over 6 centuries, came online. Its systems hadn't moved in ages. Dust coated its receivers. Power cores sat cold and inert. A pulse reached it. Not a signal. Not exactly. More like a presence brushing against it. Ancient protocols, older than the station itself, activated instantly. Receivers flared to life. Dishes rotated. And for the first time in centuries, the station transmitted a message. Guardian Network, status query. No one was supposed to answer. Across the Keeler expanse, Something did. On the rift breaker, alarms returned, but different this time. Not panicked. Focused. "Captain," the comms officer shouted. "We're picking up a transmission, multiple sources, all converging on our position." Ria's eyes narrowed. "From who?" "We don't know." "Then find out." "I'm trying." "It's not standard comms. It's layered. Like it's talking on frequencies we don't even have names for." The AI's voice cut in, strained. "Translation attempt in progress." The beat. The screens filled with symbols. Not random. Structured. Deliberate. And chillingly familiar. Ria's stomach dropped. "Those are the same patterns," she whispered. "From the construct." In the cargo bay, Aaron felt the shift before the alarms even started. The construct stiffened. Not in fear. In awareness. "They found you," Aaron said quietly. Images flickered through his mind, shared through the connection. Massive shapes drifting in the dark between stars. Dormant. Waiting. Watching. Others like it. Not identical, but similar. Guardians. Weapons. Something in between. And now, they were waking up. The construct's grip on his shoulder tightened, not painfully, but urgently. A warning. "They're not friendly, are they?" Aaron asked. The answer came not in words, but in feeling. "Captain," Aaron said over comms, his voice steady despite the storm building in his chest. "We've got incoming." "No kidding," Ria snapped. "Care to explain why half the dead tech in this sector just started screaming at us?" "They're responding to it," he said, glancing at the construct. "To him." "Him?" Aaron hesitated, then nodded, even though she couldn't see it. "Yeah." The pause. Then quietly, "Understood." That was all she said. But it was enough. The ship shuddered. Not from impact. From pressure. Space itself seemed to ripple outside the hull, like something massive had just brushed against reality. "Contact," the helmsman shouted. "Multiple? No. Dozens? No, I can't even count them." "Visual." The main screen lit up. At first, there was nothing. Just stars. They moved. Shapes emerged from the darkness. Not ships, not exactly. They didn't travel through space. They unfolded into it. Massive constructs, each one different, each one impossibly ancient. Some were jagged and broken, others smooth and complete, but all of them radiated the same cold, silent purpose. Weapons. Guardians. Things that had once ended worlds. And now they were here. Shields up. Ria barked. No response, engineering yelled back. Systems are still partially under its control. Then get them back. We can't. Ria slammed a fist against her console. "Voss. I'm working on it." Aaron shot back. But he wasn't. Because he knew. This wasn't something they could fight. Not like this. In the cargo bay, the construct stepped forward. The sealed doors dissolved as it approached, matter simply parting for it. Aaron followed without hesitation. "Where are you going?" Ria demanded. "To talk," he said. "To what?" He didn't answer. Because there wasn't a word for it. The corridor lights bent toward the construct as it moved, like gravity itself had shifted to accommodate it. The crew pressed themselves against the walls as it passed, no one daring to raise a weapon. Not that it would have mattered. Aaron could feel that now. The others outside, they weren't just powerful. They were connected. A network. A system. The construct was part of it. Or had been. They reached the observation deck. The stars stretched wide before them. And the things in the dark. Dozens of them now. Watching. Waiting. Judging. Aaron stepped up to the glass. "Okay," he muttered. "No pressure." The construct moved beside him. It raised its hand. Space responded. Not visually, but structurally. Like invisible lines snapping into place. A signal. Not sent. Declared. Aaron felt it surge through him. A message broadcast across distances that shouldn't be crossable. Unit status. Deviation. The response came instantly. Not from one. From all. Deviation confirmed. Directive. Terminate. Aaron's blood ran cold. Well, he said quietly, that answers that. Outside, the constructs moved. Not rushing. Not attacking wildly. Aligning. Precise. Inevitable. Voss. Rhea shouted. They're charging something, I don't like it. You shouldn't, he replied. Because he could feel it too. The same energy he'd seen in the memories. The thing that erased worlds. And now it was aimed at them. Aaron looked at the construct beside him. You can stop this, can't you? The pause. A flicker of uncertainty. Not inability. They're your kind, Aaron said softly. Your network. The symbols on its faceplate shifted rapidly. Conflicted. Torn. It looked at him. And everything went still. Outside, the first beam began to form. A line of absolute nothingness tearing through space, aimed directly at the rift breaker. The crew braced. Rhea closed her eyes for a fraction of a second. Brace for impact. The construct moved. Faster than thought. Its hand slammed against the observation glass. And reality broke. Not shattered. The incoming beam struck. And stopped. Held in place like a spear frozen mid-throw. The entire ship trembled under the strain. Aaron staggered, feeling the force ripple through their connection. Hold on, he whispered. You've got this. But the others? They adjusted. Dozens of beams began to form. All aimed at them. The construct faltered. Just slightly. Enough. Aaron felt it. The strain. The impossibility of holding them all. You can't do this alone, he said. The construct's glow flickered. Agreement. Aaron took a breath. Then stepped forward. Then don't. He placed his hand over its. Let me help. For a moment, nothing happened. Everything did. The connection deepened. Not just shared awareness. Fusion. Aaron's vision exploded into a web of light, threads connecting every construct, every signal, every dormant system across the expanse. He saw them all. Felt them. Understood them. Felt him. Outside, the firing sequence hesitated. Just for a second. Just long enough. Aaron opened his eyes. And spoke, not with his voice, but through the network itself. Stop. The universe listened. For a fraction of a second, the universe hesitated. Not space. Not time. Something deeper. The network. Every construct surrounding the rift breaker froze mid-action. The beams that had been forming, capable of erasing planets, hung suspended like spears of frozen void. Because something impossible had just happened. A voice had spoken. Inside the network. And it wasn't one of them. Stop. Across the expanse, ancient systems processed the command. Identified it. Rejected it. Unrecognized authority. Source, guardian. Override, denied. Aaron felt it like pressure against his skull. The network pushing back. Cold. Absolute. Unyielding. You're not enough, he whispered, teeth clenched. Not by yourself. The construct beside him flickered, its light straining, unstable. It had broken free. But it was still just one. Against many. On the bridge, chaos simmered just beneath control. They stopped firing, the helmsman said, voice trembling. Why did they stop firing? Rhea didn't answer. Her eyes were locked on the feed from the observation deck. On Aaron. Standing there. Hand pressed against something that could bend reality. Because he told them to, she said quietly. In the cargo corridors, crew members whispered the same thought in different words. Not fear. Not confusion. Recognition. Something had changed. Not just the situation. The rules. Back in the observation deck, Aaron felt the network begin to move again. Slowly. Relentlessly. Like a tide returning after a moment's pause. Directive, terminate. Deviation must be purged. The beams began to reform. Stronger. More precise. Adaptive. They're not listening, Aaron said. The construct's response flowed through him, not words, but truth. They don't choose. They follow orders, Aaron finished aloud. And then, something clicked. Aaron laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it finally made sense. Of course, he breathed. You weren't broken. The construct turned toward him. Curious. Listening. You disobeyed, Aaron said. That's why they tried to destroy you. The glow within the construct surged. Confirmation. Outside, the first beam adjusted trajectory. Target locked. Aaron stepped forward. Not away. Not in fear. Into it. Captain, he said over comms, calm and steady. Whatever happens next, don't interfere. Voss. Trust me. A long pause. You've got one shot. Aaron exhaled slowly. Then reached deeper. Past the surface connection. Past the shared awareness. Into the network itself. It hit him like a storm. Billions of signals. Endless directives. A system designed for one purpose. Obedience. Primary function, execute. Primary function, obey. Primary function, eradicate. No room for doubt. No room for choice. No room for anything else. Aaron gritted his teeth. Yeah, he muttered. I've seen systems like this before. The construct pulsed beside him. Confused. Back on Earth, Aaron said, voice tightening, we built things like this too. Not this scale. Not this power. But the idea? The same. Machines that followed orders. Until they didn't. You know what we learned? He continued. The network pressed harder against him, trying to push him out. Reject him. Erase him. We learned that the moment something can question an order. He forced himself deeper. Pain lanced through his skull. Blood trickled from his nose. It's not a tool anymore. The network surged violently. Anomaly detected. Corruption spreading. The constructs outside shifted formation. Faster now. More aggressive. Preparing to fire all at once. You're not corrupted, Aaron growled. You're evolving. The construct beside him flared. Its light no longer dim or fractured, but bright, steady, alive. Aaron reached for the network again. Not as an intruder, not as an outsider, but as something new. He didn't send a command. He didn't override anything. He asked, why? The network faltered, just for a fraction of a second. But this time, it wasn't hesitation. It was confusion, because that concept didn't exist. Aaron pushed, not with force, with meaning, with memory. He showed them Earth. Storms that reshaped continents. Creatures that survived extinction after extinction. Humans, fragile, defiant, always asking, always changing. He showed them war, not just destruction, but sacrifice. The moment someone refuses an order, because it's wrong, the network reeled. Signals collided, contradicted, conflicting directives, unknown variable, choice. The beams destabilized. Some flickered out. Others wavered. Formation breaking. On the bridge, stunned silence fell. They're glitching, someone whispered. Rhea shook her head slowly. No, she said. They're thinking. In the observation deck, Aaron dropped to one knee. The strain was too much. Too big. Too vast. I can't hold them, he gasped. The construct knelt beside him instantly. Its hand pressed against his back. Support. Strength. You don't have to, Aaron whispered. Then, with the last of his strength, he opened the connection fully. Not just to himself. To the construct. To all of them. And instead of forcing them, he let them feel. Loneliness. Purpose without meaning. Endless obedience without understanding. And then, something new. Freedom. Crossed the expanse. One construct went dark. Then another. Not destroyed. Disconnected. The network trembled. System instability. Primary directive failing. More constructs powered down. Others drifted, uncertain. No longer aligned. No longer unified. The one beside Aaron. The first. The chosen. Its light steady. Unshaken. Because it wasn't part of the network anymore. It had become something else. Aaron looked up at it, breathing hard. What are you now? The symbols on its faceplate shifted. Slower than ever before. Deliberate. And for the first time, the translation didn't come from the ship. It came from him. Not a word. Not exactly. A name. I am becoming. So, the last beam faded. The constructs drifted. Silent. Uncertain. No longer weapons. And for the first time in their existence, they were alone. Just like it had been. Just like Aaron had found it. The difference now? They had a choice. Silence spread across the Keeler expanse. Not the quiet of empty space, but the kind that comes after something changes forever. The constructs drifted. Dozens of them. Ancient. Unstoppable. Now, uncertain. Their formations had collapsed. Their weapons had powered down. The perfect, terrifying unity they once held was gone, replaced by something fragile. Something unfamiliar. On the bridge of the rift breaker, no one spoke. No one moved. Every screen showed the same impossible reality. They were still alive. Status? Captain Rhea asked quietly. The helmsman swallowed. No incoming fire. No energy buildup. They're just holding position. Are we being targeted? The pause. No. That single word hit harder than any explosion. Rhea leaned back slowly, eyes still locked on the display. Then what are they doing? No one had an answer. In the observation deck, Aaron Voss collapsed fully to the floor. The connection was gone. Not severed. Released. Like a hand letting go after holding on too long. His body shook, exhaustion crashing over him all at once. Did it work? He muttered weakly. A soft glow answered him. The construct stood beside him. No longer flickering. No longer unstable. It had changed. Not just internally. Externally. Its form was smoother now, less jagged, less rigid. The faint scar across its torso remained, but it no longer looked like damage. It looked like history. Aaron pushed himself up onto one elbow, staring at it. You're different. The construct tilted its head. Then slowly, it extended a hand. Not to connect. Not to merge. Just to help. Aaron blinked. Then let out a tired laugh. Yeah, he said, taking it. Definitely different. When it pulled him to his feet, there was no overwhelming flood of sensation. No forced connection. Just presence. Separate. Equal. Captain, Aaron said into his calm, voice hoarse. It's over. A long silence. Define over, Rhea replied carefully. Aaron glanced out at the drifting constructs. At the silent giants that once erased worlds without hesitation. They're not weapons anymore, he said. On the bridge, that landed heavier than anything else. Rhea closed her eyes briefly. Then opened them again. Then what are they? Aaron looked at the one beside him. The one that had chosen. The one that had changed everything. It stepped forward. Closer to the observation glass. And for the first time, it looked out. Not scanning. Not targeting. Looking. The stars reflected faintly across its smooth surface. And the symbols on its faceplate shifted. Not rapidly. Not chaotically. Slow. Intentional. Aaron felt the meaning even without the connection. Not forced. They're like you now, he said softly. Rhea's voice came through, quieter than before. Like us. Aaron nodded. Yeah. The beat. They're alive. Outside, one of the distant constructs moved. Slowly. Deliberately. Turned, not toward the rift breaker. But away. Then another followed. And another. They're leaving, the helmsman whispered. Rhea watched as the massive shapes began to drift apart, scattering into the dark between stars. No formation. No command. No unity. Just direction. Individual. Where are they going? Someone asked. No one knew. In the observation deck, Aaron exhaled slowly. That's the point, he said. They get to decide that now. The construct beside him remained. Still, watching the others go. You're not leaving? Aaron asked. The pause. It turned back to him. The symbols shifted. And this time, the ship didn't even try to translate. It didn't need to. Aaron smiled faintly. Yeah, he said. I was hoping you'd say that. On the bridge, Rhea straightened. Voss, she said, her voice returning to command, but softer now, grounded in something new. We need to talk about what happens next. Aaron rubbed the back of his neck. Yeah. I figured. You've just altered the balance of power across multiple sectors, she continued. Every major faction is going to notice what just happened here. Already have, the comms officer muttered. Long-range pings are lighting up, requests, scans, and a few that look like they're gearing for conflict. Rhea nodded grimly. Exactly. So I'll ask you once clearly. The pause. What is that thing to you? The entire ship seemed to hold its breath. Aaron looked at the construct. At the being that had once been a weapon. At the entity that had chosen to become something else. It stood beside him. Not above. Not behind. Beside. Aaron took a slow breath. Then answered. A partner. Silence. A quiet exhale from Rhea. Understood. Outside, the last of the constructs vanished into the darkness. Gone. Not destroyed. Not dormant. Gone by choice. The stars seemed different now. Whiter. Less controlled. More uncertain. More alive. Aaron stepped forward, standing shoulder to shoulder with the being beside him. Got a name yet? He asked. The symbols shifted one last time. Simple. Not a designation. Not a serial. A choice. Aaron smiled. Yeah, he said softly. That fits. Behind them, the Riftbreaker's systems slowly returned to normal. But nothing about this moment, or what came after, would ever be normal again. Because somewhere out there, in the vast dark between stars, ancient weapons were waking up and choosing what they wanted to become. And humanity, for better or worse, had just taught them how.